So, I'm going to pull up the prompts of what we have to include for today. The two-ending structure of The Handmaid's Tale. To be honest, I was one of the people who didn't read the historical notes right away because I just didn't think they were part of the novel. I thought it was one of those like suggested further reading sort of things. I should have looked at it more closely, but I'm glad you pointed it out that it was indeed important. And I'm really glad that that exists, because when it ended, when Fred got into the van, I was kind of like, oh, this is like the Blackwater Lightship again, like another uncertain, ambiguous ending where we might have an idea, but we can't be certain. But then that historical notes part really clarified some things. So I think it was like a really clever thing to do. Yeah. And then our reflection. I mean, aside from appreciating it, I did really like The Handmaid's Tale a lot. But I appreciate about it that it's so honest about problems that are going on. You can tell by reading it that Margaret Atwood's really aware of social issues, especially those related to women and women's rights. So I really appreciate that there's a novel written about that that's kind of bringing attention to it. I also really appreciated the language of it, because you could tell that she, like you've said, nothing's there by accident, nothing's there randomly, it's all thought out. And I kind of alluded to this in class, like things that I wouldn't have picked up on had we read this earlier in the semester. Like the language is something I probably would have been like, oh yeah, it was nice, but I wouldn't have known why. And now I do. Just how she had subtle symbols that reoccurred throughout the novel, and a lot of what she did was poetic, and how the words were broken into paragraphs on the page, and sometimes like one line was its own section, it's offset. So I thought that was just something very appreciative. I liked that a lot. Appreciated it a lot. And The Intuitionist, I'm having a hard time with it. You said it was the most different thing we've read, and I'd agree. And it's also, I think, the most difficult so far, just because I haven't finished all 65 pages yet. I'm almost done, but it's just, I can't really tell what's going on. I know the cover, the little review on the cover says it's an allegory, so I know it's an allegory, but I'm not quite sure as to what. Yeah, I'm intrigued, but it's not my favorite thing. I'll keep going, and I will appreciate it though. Then my question and quote, it's next, right? Oh, I'm reacting the way I am, I think because I don't know who, like, something that's been, like, bothering me is I don't know how the narrator is working. Like, I don't know who's narrating. I think, like, it sounds or feels kind of like it's a television program or something. It's very objective and just kind of says what's going on without much feeling. And then it really struck me to like think it was like TV at the part where Lila May's stuck in traffic, and then there's like a little side story, and then in parentheses, meanwhile Lila May's still in traffic. Like, it just sounded very, someone is telling it from an objective standpoint. But I'm reacting the way I am because I also, maybe this will be answered before I come to class tomorrow, because I haven't finished all 65 pages, but I just don't know what the empiricists and what the intuitionists are and what they're supposed to be representing, because it is an allegory. Kind of feel like I'm too dumb for this, but I'll change that. And then my discussion question, I'm pulling it from page 35, the quote halfway down about, "For the first time it occurs to Lila May that someone might have been hurt." And that kind of struck me because we've been hearing about this elevator accident for like 20 pages now, or around that, and I think the first thing I would think if someone's like, oh, there's been an accident, is, oh my gosh, who got hurt? But this is the first time that Lila May's thought that, and she's only been really thinking about herself and her reputation. So I guess my question is, what kind of person is she? Because usually the main character of the story is the protagonist and we want to root for him or her, but I don't know if she's that concerned with herself. I'm not really sure she's like the kind of person I'd want to root for, so I'm really intrigued as to like see how this all plays out. And yeah, see you tomorrow.